What's up, everybody? Welcome to Transition Tuesdays. For this Tuesday, January 12th, 2021, I am your host, Russ Williams. I'm so glad you could be here today. I'm quite aware you could have been anywhere in this world today. I know you could have been anywhere in this world today, but you decided to be here with me, and I appreciate that. More importantly, I appreciate you. So welcome to Transition Tuesdays, my good friends. Keisha, what's going on from the D? What up, though? Welcome to Transition Tuesdays. Appreciate having you on, Keisha, and everybody else joining us today. Hey, guys, before we begin, action-packed show as usual. But before we begin, I always like to state my intentions. And my intentions is to give you the opportunity to laugh, smile, think, and engage in honest conversations. And today I want to have honest conversations, okay, about your life's transition. So that's what we're going to talk about here today. So welcome each and every one of you to Transition Tuesday, especially for my people from the D. What up, though? Everybody there from the D, checking in all the time. Faithful Transition Army listeners and viewers, I appreciate you all. So, ladies and gentlemen, you know, we got to talk. We got to talk about this Capitol, the assault on the Capitol went down last week on Wednesday. Went down, and if most of you don't know, I'm not aware of it, I want to just kind of summarize what went down there. And you know, from the marching orders of number 45, again, I don't call this guy president, never have, never will. From the marching orders of number 45, you have Rudy Giuliani, who was quoted in this march as saying the march by combat. And then you had Alabama Senator Mo Brooks. He's quoted as saying at this particular march and rally, kick ass. All right. So for these marching orders of these individuals, thousands of rioters. Again, I'm not going to even call these people protesters. These people were rioters. So thousands of rioters stormed the Capitol building to, quote unquote, stop the steal and prevent the electoral college votes of President-elect Biden and President-elect VP-elect Harris. For the 2020 presidential election. Okay, so this is went down. They had an actual rally in which this president called for these people to walk down to the Capitol building, and I stress this, people are not really saying a lot about it, but he did say this, number 45 did say, I will meet you guys there. Never made it there. Went home to check out all the chaos, I guess, but you know, he told these people to go down there and cause this menace and mayhem that went down on that particular day on January 6th. And I'm sure everybody's going to remember where they were January the 6th, 2021. Very similar if people were around during that time, 9/11, 2001. I remember quite well where I was. I was in New York when that happened. And I'm going to remember where I was on January 6th, 2021. So throughout this process, you had 5 deaths resulting from this angry mob. And this was an angry mob. These weren't protesters. These were domestic terrorists, as they're being called. That's what it was, and that's what it is. But this angry mob, you had images of these rioters making their way into the Senate chambers. We got my man John Lee watch. What's going on, John? Welcome to Transition Tuesdays, my friend. You had people taking selfies at the desk of the Senate President Pence. You had one guy had the unmitigated gall to take a picture on the desk of Nancy Pelosi. He had his feet up on the desk. He took some mail. You had this. You had a picture of a guy taking a lantern. One of those podium type of deals, smiling, no problem. You had people taking selfies with the police. What was that all about? I guess these guys are serve and protect and to take pictures as well. Crazy. All this stuff was going on. You have an image of the guy, and one of the most disturbing images with the Confederate flag. The Confederate flag. And to this day, this guy has not been arrested just yet. I'm going to go over the rest of these guys. You had armed people, this angry mob chanting out, hang Pence, hang Pence. And where's Nancy? Ridiculous, crazy. And everybody in this mob in the Capitol building was able to leave without being arrested, jailed, beat down, shot, or what have you. They were able to go home and live another day and talk about it and put it on their social media feeds and everything, so on and so forth. We got Dave Snedeker joining. What's going on, Dave? Welcome to Transition Tuesdays. Hey, David, question for you, man. If you could type this in for me. I believe you were at the Save American March? Just send me a little comment in there if you would, please, okay? All right. So that's what went down in there. All right, at the Capitol building. Now, these people were able to do this and live another day. I tell you. Man. So we got Dave on here. Okay, so Dave Snedeker. So Dave was at the Save America March. Hey Dave, I gotta ask you, man, now that I have you, and I know you're listening, and I wish you can, I don't know if I can get you in on the so Dave said he was at the Capitol March and the Capitol. Hey Dave, is it any way I can get you on, man, on camera? That way we could talk about this. Maybe I don't know if we can do that. Oh man. But Dave, talk to me about your experience, man. So you said you were at the march and you were at the Capitol. Talk to me about this, Dave. I mean, we got to have answers, man. We need to have answers. And I would, again, Dave, if I had your number, I would call you. I don't know if we can do something on, hold on a second. I'm going to see Dave. Hold on a second. I'm going to see if I could pull you up on the screen, if I have a split screen. What's up, Karen? We have Karen join us. What's on, Karen? Welcome to Transition Tuesdays. And if you allow me, Dave, I'm going to invite you to come on if I could, okay? Hang tight. Can I do Dave? All right. Dave, do me a favor while you're listening. If you can, if you'd like to come on camera, we'd love to talk to you about being there and the situation and your take on it, please, if we can. If not, we can always communicate by the comment thread, okay? Very important. We got Keisha who says, yes, told them to go down. The president told them to go down there because hell then had the nerve to say, go home, leave in peace. I know this election was bogus. Okay, hold on one second. All righty. And Keisha says, he's a mess, that 45. Okay, let's see what we got. So I'm going to see if I can get in there. 1 second. I'm going to add this real quick. All right. So Dave, I just tried putting you on. It just said no request. Try putting another request for me, sir, if you can. All right. And again, guys, we're doing this live, so we might have some little technical difficulties. I hope not. Hope we can get this on. Yeah. But again, you know, one of the most disturbing things, like I talk about, is, you know, and we got my man Michael watching. What's going on, Michael? Welcome to Transition Tuesdays, my sir, my man. All right. Yeah, again, one of the disturbing things about this whole thing was the man, I'm not even calling this guy a gentleman, the rioter with the Confederate flag, and this guy has not been arrested to this day. Now, they arrested some of the people there who took part in this, like the one guy who had the nerve to sit on Nancy Pelosi's desk and put his feet on his desk. He got arrested when he got back home. You had the guy with the lantern. He got arrested. And I'm watching CNN yesterday, and this guy had 2 lawyers representing this guy. And they're saying this guy was totally out of character. He's been, they didn't answer the question why he took the particular podium or lantern, but they said this was totally out of character for this guy. This is the same guy now. And again, these people are coming from areas in which, there's not, downtrodden areas. This guy's wife was a doctor. All right. And he was totally out of character, but he lived to tell about it, which is actually crazy to me. Let me see here. Hold on a second, guys. I'm going to add 1 second. Hang tight. Let's see if I can get Dave. Dave, hang on there, sir. I'm gonna try to get you in there. Sent an invite for you just now. Okay. See if it goes through, because Dave would love to get your insight and just come on and talk about. Again, you said you were there. And again, Dave. So Dave, again, I just sent that out for you. And John says that lectern guy had 5 kids. Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you on that, John. Yeah. Not only was he married, had 5 kids. Totally out of character. Smile, taking the picture. No problem with smiling, taking the picture. You know? So Dave, just put in a request for you. Again, if that request does not go through, if we can communicate by the comment text, that will be fine as well. Okay? So you have the, situation on those particular people that they had, that was part of that riot there. And again, the guy with the Confederate flag, one of the biggest indictments there, this guy, they can't find this guy, and this guy hasn't been arrested yet. So, man, and also, let me just stress this too. The FBI is saying that there's possible future attack on all Capitol buildings throughout all 50 states. And they said this might go down on January 17th. I don't know. I don't know, Dave. I don't know how that goes with the request, but I put in the request for you to come on Facebook. So I don't know, man. Let me try it again. Bear with me, everybody out there. Okay. It already says I invited you, Dave. We got Ron Neclario joining. What's going on, Ron? Welcome to Transition Tuesdays, man. We also got Lawrence joining. What's going on, Lawrence? Welcome to Transition Tuesdays. We also got an icon, a Manhattan's icon, Donna Siebo joining us. What's going on? What's going on there, guys? So again, this can happen again. There might be another attack that's going on throughout all of the state capitals in this country. That's slated on January 17th. Now, a couple of questions I have to ask. Okay, a couple of questions. We got Janine joining. What's going on, Janine? Welcome to Transition Tuesdays, my Jasper sister. We also got Annette from the D joining us. What's going on? What's going on? Hold on one second, guys. All right. So Dave says he's just seeing this. All right, Dave. See if you can come on, sir. Put in requests for me if you can, Dave. So what you can do, Dave, if you're not familiar with it, you can put in a request while you're online. So you have to be online. So be online. That way you can put in a request. Okay? And I'll continue to do the same thing here. And bear with me, ladies and gentlemen, because I would love to talk to Dave Snedeker, because again, he was at the march and he was at the Capitol as well. So there's something I really need to talk to. We need to talk to. All right. But again, while we're waiting for that, who's to blame? There's a lot of blame to go around, because 5 people have died on the result of this. So there's a lot of blame to go around. Not just number 45. Again, you got, like who I mentioned before, you got Giuliani. Again, Giuliani is an alumnus of my school that I graduated from Manhattan College. But his words, his rhetoric, and throughout this whole process, I'm not down with that. I don't co-sign with that. I'm telling you off the bat. I don't care what school you went to, what have you, happen to go to Manhattan College, I'm not down with that rhetoric. Okay? He can have his hands in on the blame on it. You got those senators, you got Mo Brooks, out of Alabama, inciting the riot, saying go there and kick ass. You got Senator, Cruz, Josh Hawley, or Haley, I don't know how you pronounce the guy's name. These guys put the flame on the fire and still voted about it was a bogus election, the bogus votes after this went down when they came back in the chambers. And you got, for that Haley guy, you got the newspapers in Missouri, they're saying that the blood is on his hands for stoking this. So there's a lot of blame to go around. It's a lot of blame to go around. You got to point the finger at this, because people have to be held accountable. People have to be held accountable. But man, my man Vincent joined. What's going on, Vincent? Welcome to Transition Tuesday, sir. Welcome, 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 my brother. Man, tell you, hold on a second, guys. Hold on one second. Hello?
Hello, may I please speak to Mr. or Mrs. Williams?
You have the wrong number. Oh my God, we got telemarketers still. Live show, guys, live show. I tell you, I thought that was you, Dave, actually calling, man. But then, Dave, again, I'm gonna get back to my thoughts in a second, guys. But again, I have on here Dave Snedeker, who again he went to the march and he was at the Capitol building. So I'm trying to get him on here, Dave. So then again, Dave, if you can't go on via video, please send in your comments in the comment bar. Very important. I want to get your thoughts. You said you were at the Capitol building during this time. I want to get why you were there. What were you guys trying to accomplish? Please let me know. If we can't talk on the phone. We can always type that in, please. Okay? Because I want to definitely talk to somebody who was there. Okay? Dave, do you have my number? Well, Dave, I can't do it via messages, sir, because my phone, I'm using it by the phone. All right? Let's do this, Dave. Hold on a second. People calling, the wrong people are calling me. Jesus Christ. All right. All right. Let's see. Can't do that, Dave. I'm trying to see how I can do that, man. Hang on tight, guys. Again, this is live, ladies and gentlemen. We got my man Steven Eric Jackson joining us. What's going on, Steven? Welcome to Transition Tuesday, sir. Dave, let's see, Dave. Hang tight, guys. I'm gonna see if I can. I'm gonna try to mess. Hey, Dave, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna try to get you I'm gonna give you my landline. All right? I'm gonna give you my landline number. That way I want you to call me. Hang tight. Let me see if I can do this. Matter of fact, Dave, if you're listening, take down this number, give me a call. Take down this number, give me a call. 718-639-5306. Again, David, 718-639-5306. Call me ASAP. We got Donna says between 10 and 15 Capitol cops are now under investigation for their part behind the scenes. It really beyond anything that could have imagined happening. I agree with you, Donna. And that brings me to another point. Could this have been an inside job? Could this have been an inside job? Hang tight for a second. We got George Survey, the Silver Fox, joining us. Welcome to Transition Tuesdays. Hello?
Russ, how you doing, brother?
This Dave Snedeker?
Yes, it is.
Dave, what's up, sir? Hey, man.
How are you?
I'm doing good. We're live, man. I'm glad you're calling me, man. I appreciate it. So, Dave, man, let's get to it. Now, I know we were just typing in. So you said you were at the Save America March and you were at the Capitol as well, both places?
Yes.
All right. Let's take first things first. Talk to me about being at the Save America March. What was the vibe there? What was, why were you there? Give us some insight on that.
Okay. Well, for starters, just to let you and your audience know, I am a supporter of Donald Trump.
Okay.
And I am not in favor of a lot of the rhetoric of some of the past and some of the things that really, offend people. But I have seen and followed his actions, not his words.
Okay.
And his actions speak volumes.
Okay.
And his actions, I believe, based on what we were seeing, are very good for all. My black brothers and sisters, my brown brothers and sisters. I mean, you know me, brother. I am colorblind.
Absolutely, I know you. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I was there to support him because based on my research, and I do a nightly show. We're over hundreds of thousands of listeners at this point weekly.
Right.
And it's called The Indoctrination. And what I do on that show is I talk about how we've been indoctrinated into our culture through the mainstream media, through Hollywood, through music. I touch on a lot of areas through medicine, through pharmaceutical companies, big agriculture.
Okay.
Poisoning our food. All of that. So it's we dive in deep into the indoctrination, which I feel is manipulating our society, right? And so, based on the research that I've done, and I've seen multiple evidence of that, there was a lot of fraud involved in this election, and I truly feel that Donald Trump won the election.
Okay.
And I would say almost every person there that I met feels the same, and it's not a feeling of we really like him and we want him to win, certainly, but we're not willing to give up our Constitution or give up, I'm not willing to take away your vote because my guy didn't win, right? That's not how I roll, and that's not how the people that I are in my audience roll. If Donald Trump really lost this election, the best man won, we move on, right? But when you stop the count in 5 swing states, which has never happened before, and then in the middle of the night all these ballots show up, and then Biden surges ahead, and the mainstream media is protecting it, Facebook's protecting it, Twitter's like every time I mention, I've been shut down. But all 3 of my Facebook channels I can no longer live stream to.
Okay.
My main YouTube channel, The Indoctrination, is I cannot live stream to.
Right. Hey, Dave, really quick, I got some people commenting. So we got Donna commenting. She says, do you really, he really did lose the election. Just going back to what you were talking about, the election. It's called, she says it's called mail-in voting because of the pandemic. So, I mean, but here's my question for you, Dave. So, was your objective when you went down there? Because you're coming from far. You live in California, correct?
Yeah. Okay.
So, was your objective was coming in there, coming to the march, and then did you have? Okay, here's my question. Did you have your mind made up, or was that on the agenda for people to go from the march to the White House, to the Capitol, to basically steal, stop the steal? Was that the objective for you and everybody else that was there?
The objective was to support our president because he asked us to be there.
Okay.
And so we went there. We had so we were at the White House. We were at the Ellipse, right? And I think it's over 2 million people that were there.
Right.
And it was amazing, Russ. The people, all colors, all genders, just really fabulous people. Like
peaceful.
I would have had my little girl there, no problem.
Okay,
right?
peaceful. There was peaceful. There was a peaceful like the peaceful demonstration that was going on.
Very peaceful.
Gotcha.
President Trump did not incite the crowd.
You don't think he incited the crowd by telling them to go down to the Capitol Center?
No, because he said let's all walk to the Capitol and basically let them know what we think. And so this media is blowing this up into that he incited this violence. Now, so we left the speeches,
right?
And I'm telling you, Russ, people were excited, people were happy, and then when I got closer to the Capitol, that's when I had heard that that Pence allowed the electoral vote, like he didn't stop it, right?
Right.
And one of my listeners who was with me was really bummed. And I said, why are you upset? You listen to my show. I told you that Pence wasn't going to stop this electorate vote. Okay? So many of us were there already knew that wasn't going to happen because, we follow Q. Okay, and Q is a very strong, high military operation.
Is that Q? Is that QAnon?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so you follow QAnon as well. Okay, gotcha.
So here's what's important, I think, when we're looking at this whole picture, is that the discrediting that is being done to Q and that movement by a guy. All he has to do is grab a Q sign and walk in with this, these horns on his head.
So are you saying, so Dave, so not to cut you off, but are you saying that guy with the horns, the infamous, the guy who had the red, white, and blue painted face on, big tall guy.
Yeah.
So you're saying he's not part of QAnon? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Well, from the standpoint of here's the thing: we are the people who follow Q are not into violence at all, at all. But let me walk you down through this.
Okay, yeah, you got to on this, Dave. Because walk me down.
So, by the way, I don't anticipate we're going to jive on this,
right?
And I don't anticipate any of your listeners and I are going to jive on this. But here's the thing.
And I appreciate you coming on, Dave. I really do. Continue.
Yeah. I know we're in completely separate boats. By the way, tell your mom I said hi.
Oh, no doubt, absolutely will.
But at any rate, so we are walking up to the Capitol, and so people, when they find this out, they're angry. No question about it. They're angry.
Right.
And so we get up to the Capitol. Now I want to get up on the Capitol.
Right.
Because I want to see what's going on. I want to see the police. I want to see how they're stopping. Right. Now, this is about when I heard that they had breached earlier, right? Mm-hmm. And because I'm not seeing any breaching at all, other than people are up on the Capitol steps. But what I saw, and I've got a lot of video, what I was seeing was people waving flags, people singing, people praying. That's what I saw.
Now, Dave, to be honest, did you see any of those Confederate flags that we saw? I saw.
No.
You didn't see any of these flags? No Confederate flags? None of the flags that said Trump 2020?
I could send you some video.
Okay.
I could send you some video.
All
I
right.
didn't see any Confederate flags.
Oh, okay.
And I saw a lot of flags.
All right. So how do you explain that Confederate flag that got inside the Capitol? That one guy with the huge Confederate flag, and how do you explain? I saw one officer getting beat down by a Confederate flag and a Trump flag. So I mean,
do you know? Do you know what a false flag is?
I have no idea. What's a false flag?
Okay. Every single war we got into in the 20th century was from a false flag. From the sinking of the Lusitania, from Pearl Harbor, we knew the Japanese were going to attack, and we allowed it to Vietnam. The attack on the USS Maddox never happened in the Gulf of Tonkin, and yet that was the incident that got us into the war and ruined the lives of 60-some thousand young men and their families, and just ruined a generation. And that was a false flag. The USS Maddox returned to port in San Diego, and a reporter for the San Diego newspaper asked them, what was it like to be fired upon? And they were like, we never got fired upon. And so we all know, and by the way, McNamara on his deathbed said that was a false flag before he died. Okay, and he was in the administration, the Kennedy and then Johnson administration. So the false flags are used. It's like going into Iraq. Remember the weapons of mass destruction? Mm-hmm. Okay, they lied to us. They lied to us, and young men and young women died of every color, especially the ones in Iraq. Okay, and so these are false flags because what they're used in order to gain public support. So
you're saying, David, these false flags were present at this particular with these riots?
The people that you see in the Capitol,
right inside the Capitol, yes. And outside, too.
There is video. Yeah, outside. There is video. They allowed them through the doors. You know that, right?
I just saw what I saw, Dave. I mean, I saw thousands of people. Now I'm not gonna even say protests. I saw thousands of rioters allowed in that building. Hook or crook, I don't care what. If you had a flag or not, I saw people storming the Capitol building. Now, that's what I saw, and I got a couple of people on here, Dave. I got Terry saying, see, even Stevie Wonder could see that, and also I got Donna saying so. And she's asking you the question, Dave. So, so you were nowhere close to the people breaking windows, killing the police officer. Because again, that happened too. Yeah,
no, they did break windows.
Right.
So listen, there was a significant amount of people there that were angry.
Sure.
And there were some that wanted to go inside the Capitol.
Right.
99.9% of them were happy being on the Capitol steps, waving the flags. I got plenty of videos. It was a beautiful moment.
Okay.
Now,
did you make it? Did you make it to those steps, Dave, or were you able to have access to the Capitol? Did you get inside?
I did not get inside, but I was talking to the police. I was right at the line.
Okay.
I was right at the line.
Okay, you said you were talking to the police. So, talk to me about that. So the police again. I don't want to play conspiracy theorist, but again, I think the police were allowing these people in to do what they were doing. I think in cahoots of why these people were allowed to be in. So you said you were conversating with these police while this was going on.
So this was after what you're discussing about the people inside.
Okay.
I got there after they had already been inside.
Okay, so you got there after they've been inside. Okay, all right.
But what I can tell you is I've seen video of them letting them through the blockade and letting them inside the building. I've seen that video.
Okay.
And I've also seen video and pictures of these people, like the guy holding the Q flag with the horns and all that.
Yes.
And there are police there. I've got on my page on my page I showed a picture of a photo op. You could see these really high value cameras in the foreground taking the pictures of the horn guy and all these supposed MAGA people, right?
Right.
But the narratives that they want you now I want you to think about something.
Okay.
And the next day and the day after, what happened to social media?
What do you mean? Like in terms of
what happened to Trump's Twitter account?
Oh, he got suspended. Got permanently suspended.
Okay. And let's say, for example, that the media was right in that he incited that violence, which he did not, because I was there and I was not incited to do anything other than march to the Capitol and practice our First Amendment right.
Okay. Hey, Dave, really quick before I'm just thinking about this right now. So again, you're at the march, right? So did you have any idea that you guys was going to be the next step was going to be going to the Capitol building, or was it just going to be the march and that's it? Because that's important to know.
Yeah. No, that was the plan was to march to the Capitol grounds.
Okay, so that was the march. So everybody there at that march, they knew the next step in the process was we listen to the march, and then we go down to the Capitol building. So everybody there knew that was going to go down, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Another question, too, for you, Dave. Now, I know you're part of QAnon, and I know you talked about the guy with the horns. He wasn't part of the QAnon movement, correct?
He is, by the way, he's military.
He's a military guy.
That guy, yeah.
So he served our country, and he broke into the Capitol. And so, okay, so he broke in the Capitol. He's a military guy. So, and I think he just got arrested. So, again, if a guy's in the military and he breaks into the Capitol, this guy needs to go to jail for life because he served this country in the military. That's just my take on that. Because if I know what I know now, if this guy's in the military and he broke in like that,
Russ, he didn't break in.
Or he walked in or whatever. He was on the grounds where he shouldn't have been.
Let them in.
Okay.
Let them in.
All right. But he shouldn't have been there, but he was there, and now he's military?
No. Here's my theory on him.
Mm-hmm.
We think that he was a plant in the Antifa.
Antifa. So, okay. And I don't want to talk about Antifa too, because conspiracy theorists, I guess QAnon, a lot of people are saying like these people weren't people for Trump. These people were disguised as Antifa and BLM, right? That's what I'm hearing too.
Yeah, absolutely. And because the narrative, they had to shut down the conservative movement. Now, let's say Trump did incite.
Mm-hmm. Hang in there, Terry.
Twitter was justified in shutting down his account, right?
Right.
Why would you shut down hundreds of other accounts? Why would they shut down every account of other conservative voices? What you saw happen on Friday was the largest silencing of humans in the history of our planet. And whether or not you agree with those humans that were silenced or you don't, that's fascism. And that was the solution that they needed, which is why they created this false event. Now you're seeing these Capitol cops, and these Capitol cops are being brought in for question. Why? Because they were a part of allowing this to happen, and they were a part of this all happening. And by the way, I have footage, Russ. I was there at 6 o'clock when there was another group trying to break through the door, and they were repelled. I took in more tear gas than I've ever in my life, okay? And I was with a bunch of other people that were running from the Capitol trying to get fresh air because they launched about 5 tear gas canisters and about 4 flashbangs. And meanwhile, there was only a small group that was trying to break in. And I was literally walking past a little girl,
mm-hmm.
An elderly couple that were also trying to get out of there. And because most of the people that were there were just hanging out and enjoying the thing. I mean, there were families there. And so they were repelling just this small group of about 10, 15 people that were trying to break through this one door.
Yep.
But they were launching the canisters over their head to us. And so they cleared it out. So I saw a successful repelling of people, and no one was in the building at this time, Russ. It didn't even make any sense. So why weren't they repelling them earlier in the day? When things don't make sense like this, you just gotta, I just ask my audience to think outside the box and start asking questions like, who benefits? I always say, cui bono? Who benefits from this?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But here's the deal, Dave. Now, again, I'm just trying to rehash what you're telling me. You're telling me that, the goal of the Save America March was we hear the speeches, we're all going to collectively go down to the Capitol building, right? So I would imagine, okay, so I'll give you that. So I would imagine that you guys were going to go down there peacefully. But again, when you get the marching orders from number 45, when you get the marching orders for Giuliani, when you get the marching orders from Mo Brooks about kick ass, combat, take it back morally, you can't be weak, you can't be strong, I got a tough time really believing. I don't believe that they went down there for peaceful protests. They just was going by the orders of what was said by this president and others.
Who are you speaking of, Russ? Who are you speaking of?
I'm talking about everybody who was at that march, who got the marching orders from the president.
Wait a minute. You're gonna group everybody that was at that march.
No, I'm gonna group the people that went down to the Capitol. Those people.
There were 2 million people that went to the Capitol.
Okay.
There were about 100, less than 100 that went into the Capitol.
Okay. So those that got through, those were doing the beat downs outside of the Capitol, those that hit the police officer over the head with the fire extinguisher, all those people that got through, they got marching orders. They got marching orders from somebody who told them to go and do that.
Russ, they were let through. Why were they let through?
But again, I got another. I'm not going to say conspiracy theory. Here's my deal. They were let through because of this president probably told the officers, listen, let them through. Don't harm them. Don't touch them. Let them do what they do. I can say those marching orders came from the president as well. Now, I don't have factual events on that, but just seeing this guy throughout the years, I think it went down that way. And like Terry said she saw more than 100 people in the Capitol building.
Russ, I've got thousands of people that are sending my people stuff like videos and I've shown it. I mean, we've shown on my broadcast, we've shown that they let people through.
Yeah,
they let them in there, and here's the thing. Before we had this conversation, you didn't know what a false flag was.
No, I have no idea, and I'm sure thousands of people don't. I mean, what's the point? Again, to be respectful, David. What's the point of a false flag? What does that have to do with 5 people dying, people invading the democracy by descending on the Capitol? What does that flag have to do with anything?
Because you have to understand who benefits from an action like this, and look for motive. As a detective, you've played a detective on TV, but you got to be a detective off TV.
I got you. I did, and I did.
So you got to look at it and say, okay, who has motive to do this?
Mm-hmm.
What did that do to break into the Capitol? What did that do for the Q movement? What did it do for the Trump movement? What did it do for those who felt the election was stolen from us? What did it do for us?
Can you answer that for me?
Nothing. It damaged us.
So you're saying this? So this wasn't done by people of QAnon. This was done by other groups. You're saying?
Absolutely.
So you're saying Antifa? You're saying BLM, Black Lives Matter movement? These people were disguised as protesters to create this?
Russ, let's look at their MO. Let's look at BLM and Antifa's MO. It's destruction. It's breaking and entering. It's looting. It's rioting. It's burning. It's destroying. That is not our movement. I walked away at 6 p.m. from that event and headed for the subway, and there wasn't a piece of trash on the street. There wasn't broken glass. There wasn't anything burning. There wasn't anybody fighting or rioting. No. This was a peaceful protest that had an insurrection inside to make it look bad, to make us look bad, and then the next step was to censor our president. Think about that. Think about censorship, and think about the history of censorship. It has not ended well for anybody.
I get that, Dave, but again, you have to censor this president because, again, in people's eyes, I'm not saying you, because you're not going to say you are, or you're not going to say this, but what I'm saying is you need to censor a person like this because this person is dangerous. His rhetoric, we've seen this before. This isn't the first time. Black people, we've seen this coming. We've seen this before, and this guy leads the march in that. So you got to censor this guy to prevent this to happen again.
You've seen what before?
We've warned people about this guy and his rhetoric. His words matter, and his words are dangerous. So that's why he was censored. So we've seen the attack on Capitals in Michigan. We've seen that already. We've seen this president say, "Hey, I was okay with that." We've seen that.
Let me ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
You and your mom, you supported Biden and Harris, yeah?
Yes, we did. Yep, we voted for Biden and Harris. Correct.
Okay. Are you aware that those two politicians have enslaved more black men and women than more than any politician in history?
I mean, well, we're gonna get into like the jails and all that stuff. We're gonna talk about that.
We're gonna get into the legislation that Joe Biden brought to Senate and signed in 1988 and 1994 that imprisoned more of our brothers and sisters behind bars than any legislation in history.
I got you.
That's Joe Biden.
I got you, but Joe Biden is on record saying he made a mistake on that. He is on record by saying he made a mistake in that process. Now, but is a guy like Trump, would he come back and say, hey, I made a mistake on this, that, and the third? Well, like
some guy enslaves you as a race, and then says I was wrong on that, and that's okay with you?
No, that's not okay with me. But a guy you talk about enslavement. You talk about this. Okay, this president. Okay, the bottom line is this here, Dave. This president. He wants to again, we can have the conversation because we've known each other. We come from a different place. I know you as my brother. But again, if you talk about enslavement, we got this guy that want to take it back to the Jim Crow era. Now that's the bottom line with this particular guy. Right. So I don't think we need to get into historics with this president.
Are you aware of that Donald Trump has freed more people of your color than anybody since Lincoln?
But also, are you aware of this particular president? You remember the Central Park Five? Hold on, Dave, really quick. You remember the Central Park Five? This is the same president, the same guy who said those guys should have been executed. Turns out the DNA proved that they were exonerated. They were exonerated. And this is the same guy who says, forget all that. I still think they're guilty. So this has been the same guy could have had these 5 innocent males, black males, executed.
Yes.
And also, let's get into Queens apartments, like Donna's talking to me about. Okay, I know about the rhetoric with Trump and his dad and everything. These Queens apartments about not allowing black people to be a part of it. You call that enslavement?
Listen, Donna is correct on both of those subjects here. Mm-hmm. The Central Park Five and the Queens apartment.
Yep.
He was wrong about that.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. And I acknowledge when somebody's wrong.
Right.
About that.
Yep.
We're talking about a handful of people here that he was wrong about. That his decision did not affect any of those people, other than those people trying to get in apartments. Okay. Central Park Five. They were not. He had no control over that. Okay?
What?
That was in his private life.
Yeah, but he decided to comment on that, and still, until this day, when he found out when they were acquitted, he still said, "No, I don't agree with that. They should have been guilty."
My point is that we're talking about, since what's he done since he's come into office, and you look at what he did with the prison reform. And he got these people for nonviolent crimes, Russ, out of prison.
Yeah, he got some people out, absolutely.
By the thousands. And nobody's paying attention to that, brother. Because the media will not focus on what he has done properly. And there's a website I just dropped here. Mm-hmm. But I'm telling you, man, he's doing. I can't even count how many black brothers and sisters were at that march with me. I can't even count them, Russ. There were so many. And I'm telling you that the Blexit that Candace Owens is all about, people of color ran from the Democrat campaign because of who. Look at Kamala Harris in California to enslave black people in the prison system and extended their prison sentences for nonviolent crimes so she could get free labor out of them, cheap labor for the prison system when she was the AG of California.
I got you.
Meanwhile, she's one generation removed from slaveholders in Jamaica that owned 700 slaves.
I got you.
Okay?
I understand what you're saying, Dave. And again, if people...
Candidates,
so
but you're going to go to something Donald Trump did, like, 30, 40 years ago. And look what he's doing now for your people, man.
Yeah, he's doing absolutely. Hey, Dave, he's doing absolutely nothing for my people, for black and brown people. Again, he is he. You know what he's doing? Let me take that back. You know he is doing something. He's trying to inflame a civil war. I'll give him that. But we're not having that as people. That's not going down. And I'm not having that. So again, if people want to get a history lesson, I recommend you see the movie 13th. All right? Go to Netflix, check that out to get the history lesson on the 13th Amendment. Very important. We could talk about that. But let me just talk to you about this, Dave. Okay, so this is very important, man. Again, so you're saying you weren't in there, but you saw people going into the Capitol building. You're saying those 100 people that was allowed in, they were part of Antifa. They weren't Trump supporters. These people were planning to get inside there. Is that what you're saying? Bottom line is that?
I think there were three types of people in that crowd.
Mm-hmm.
I think there were Antifa that were meant to get in there and cause havoc and harm to people. I think there were some angry Trump supporters, and I think there was special operations that got in and took Pelosi's laptop, and now Pelosi's in a lot of trouble because she was actually communicating with these people.
So Dave, these people aren't Trump supporters. Is that what you're saying? Those people.
I'm saying that we are about non-violence, and we are not. When people board up their businesses, they're not boarding them up for Trump supporters. They're boarding them up for the Democrats, Antifa, and BLM because that is their MO. That's the damage that they've been doing to our country. Look at what's been going on with our country, and look at how many black people were killed during these George Floyd riots, man, and all these riots that BLM and Antifa were putting on.
Oh, hey Dave, I gotta say this now. You talked about your part of QAnon, right? So you talked about how QAnon, they preach nonviolence, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so again, we want to bless the dead, but how do you explain the one lady who was involved with QAnon, who was taking her hand with the rest of that mob and trying to break into the offices? She gets shot and killed. Now, again, you talked about how QAnon is nonviolent matter, but here was a lady in the midst of all those other people committing nonviolent acts.
Russ, you know that there can be one or a few people within a group that make the whole group look bad. We've been a part of organizations, we've been a part of teams where a teammate or somebody has acted up or swung at somebody and made the whole team look bad or the whole group look bad.
Okay.
That happens naturally all the time. Okay?
Okay.
But listen, I want to jump. I want to give you the last word.
Yeah, because we got to run. A lot of people have come, and I appreciate you coming on too, Dave. And I just want to, if I can, man. Let's see. Does somebody have any questions for you? There's more comments. But no, continue. You were saying?
See, Donna Siebold, one of your listeners here.
Mm-hmm.
See, she's saying just stop. She's angry right now. Okay.
Well, she's saying for you to just stop.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. See, that's called censorship, Russ. You knew that I was going to have a different. You know that we're on opposite sides, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right, in terms of who we support for president, right?
Right.
So.
But the election is done. I mean, there is a winner. Biden is the winner. But that's the bottom line. But continue.
Well, I'll finish with that. But
okay.
But you wanted me to come on because you knew I was at the Capitol, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you said, well, Dave will have some insight, and you respect me.
Yes.
Even though we have differing views, I respect you. Even
Absolutely.
Though we have different views.
Absolutely.
And yet, this girl Donna is saying, "Oh, he needs to stop. He needs to stop." Well, here's the problem: you don't stop somebody
Well, Donna says this, Dave. She says, if you speak the truth, then she will listen.
Donna doesn't even know the truth, Russ.
Well, these are opinions. I mean, that's Donna's opinion. You have an opinion. We all have opinions.
Donna doesn't even understand that the fact that what was going down there was a false flag. But here's the good news, Russ.
Okay, what's the good news? What's the silver lining in all this, Dave? You gotta tell me what's the silver lining.
All right. Well, the silver lining is that that people are being exposed, and companies are being exposed. Whole networks are being exposed. Congressmen are being exposed, and women, not just for fascism and silencing another's voice, which is completely tyrannical. Okay, but they're being exposed for being traitors to this country. Okay. And I will give you a prediction.
Okay. And then I have one more question for you. Go ahead. What's your prediction?
I'll give you two predictions.
Okay.
First off, you're going to find that these people were let in, that this was an orchestrated event on Wednesday.
Okay.
That's the first prediction. You're going to find that out very soon.
Okay. All right.
The second prediction is it's a two-part prediction. Joe Biden will not be inaugurated on January 20th. And we will have Donald Trump for 2 more years after we elect him to the new republic, which will probably start in March.
So you saying hold on. So you saying he's not going to be brought into office on the 20th?
No.
And so how are you saying this? Are you saying what? He's not gonna be able to attend, or what are we saying? What are you saying?
Joe Biden and Kamala Harris will not be stepping into the White House. Legally. Okay, so you're saying legally. So you're not saying, and again, you're not saying bodily harm of these individuals. You're saying they're not legally not going to be able to step into the White House and perform their duties as winners of the presidential election. Because they did not win the presidential election. And there's plenty of evidence, and you'll see that all come out, and that's all coming out.
Okay,
you're going to finally take my advice, and you're going to stop watching news, CNN. You're going to stop watching, and all of it's bad. Fox, CNN, MSNBC, all of those cats are propaganda. It's called Mockingbird Media, and they've been supported by the CIA since before 1975, but it all came out in the 1975 Church Commission. But your listeners, you might disagree with this. You might think I'm crazy, but I will tell you this: that I've been studying this stuff for 14 years.
Okay.
I know Q. I've been following Q and studying Q.
Okay.
And by following Q, that means that you think for yourself, because Q forces you to think for yourself by asking questions. And and it's a military operation, and it's all going down in the coming days. So this isn't the kind of thing where you and I maybe had disagreements a couple years ago, and we would have to wait to see this out.
Okay,
this is all coming to a head.
Gotcha. You're on record saying that the 20th is not going to take place. Biden and Kamala Harris, they are not going to be a part of this administration, and you're saying that this current president, who's going to be ousted in 8 more days, he's going to continue on, and he's going to serve a 2 year. Is that 2 years or 4? You said 2 years, right?
Yeah, I believe what's going to happen, based on my research, is that that the Department of Homeland Security will take over operations of that the president would normally fulfill. So it's basically a military operation, and then we will announce Nassar Jassar, which is going to be financial freedom for all humans, certainly the U.S. with Nassara. And then what that does is it opens us up. I explained to you when I was on your show about a year ago that we would have a global currency reset, and that Nassara is going to be taking us off the illegal was turned in from a republic into a corporation in 1871.
I got you.
And so we're getting back out of that corporation. So President Trump was elected into that corporation, but that corporation is being dissolved, and we're going back to the pre-1871, the republic.
So we're gonna take it back to we're gonna take it back to 1871.
Yes, but we're going to it's going to be sovereignty for all. It's not going to be going backwards in history and harming anybody. It's about sovereignty for all, and it's about financial freedom for all, releasing technology. This is bigger than all of us, and it's bigger than a Republican versus Democrat election.
Okay.
And
I hear you, Dave. So Dave, let me ask you this, man, before we run, man. Now you're a guy that's in the know because obviously because when you went down in the march, you knew exactly what's going to go on in the Capitol. Can you share with us and my listeners? Because again, people are terrified out here, me included. So, do you have any ins on they're saying we might see more of these attacks or what have you?
No.
Do you have any ins on that? Because again, people are fearful, people are scared, people. But again, I'm talking to someone that looks like they're locked in, they're in the know. So I just want to be prepared. Let's say, for example, I'm going on your prediction. I wrote those predictions down, what you said, But again, do you have any inside, information on what's about to go down in these next 8 days?
Well, the only I consider inside information something that most people don't have access to, and so I don't have that. As a matter of fact, I have people that are pretty closely involved, but they can't tell me stuff. And there's a lot of people out there that promote their shows by telling you, I've got inside info.
Okay.
The info that I have isn't inside. It's information that we research deeply. I literally have thousands of people sending me things that they've discovered, found every single day. So much so I can't even handle my messenger. And that's why I never saw your message, by the way.
Gotcha.
Back in June.
Okay.
To talk to me about George Floyd. I never saw that because it just got buried.
Gotcha. Okay.
So my apologies for that, Russ.
Gotcha. Yeah, because I want you to come on for that. Now I appreciate it. But I'm glad to have you on today. Now I appreciate it, Dave. Hey, Dave.
But to answer your question about that you're afraid, okay?
Yeah, there's a lot of people. I mean, you got people afraid. You got people angry. You got people to really set it off in here. So it's a mixture of emotions that a lot of people are going through.
Yeah. So a couple things. One, that from the fear standpoint, that is the mainstream media's objective, is to make you fearful, to make us fearful. Mm-hmm. Okay? Because if they can make us fearful, we're not thinking logically, we're not thinking analytically, we're thinking emotionally.
Mm-hmm.
Or they put us into the fight or flight amygdala part of our brain.
Right.
And we don't operate rationally out of that part of our brain. Okay? So that's the first thing. So they want you to be fearful. And I will tell you this, you have no reason to be fearful of anybody that I was a part of on Wednesday. The Trump people, the MAGA people, the Q people, the people who were wearing red, white, and blue and waving Trump flags. I am telling you, my friend, if there was a danger from those people, I would tell you. And I'm not going to speak for all of them, right? Because, like I said, there's some bad apples in every bunch, right? Mm-hmm. But I'm telling you that is not our objective. But that's not the objective that the mainstream media will tell you is. And I'll say this because I see a couple of your listeners mentioning the like conspiracy theories, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
And Matthew mentions the Bilderberg Group, reptilians, and George Soros. Folks, I could speak on those topics for hours and hours, and I do. Okay, but I about that. But one thing that people need to understand is that the term conspiracy theory, do you know what it comes from?
Where does it come from, Dave?
When John Fitzgerald Kennedy was assassinated in 1963, they rushed the Warren Commission report out and brought it out by 1964. Everybody was calling BS on that. They're like, no way. One guy shot one bullet and it hit two different people. It was all, none of it held water. So free thinkers were starting to challenge that narrative that they were being told. In 1968, the CIA created a term called conspiracy theory and conspiracy theorist so that they could discredit free thinkers that were challenging the JFK assassination. And to this day, people roll that off their tongue to discredit people like me for simply stepping out of the emotion of it all and looking at the facts involved and breaking down who benefits from these particular activities. And guess what? Sun Tzu, The Art of War, divide and conquer, man. And they're dividing us. They're dividing us. And they're doing a great job of it because we're fighting against each other versus really fighting against those who are enslaving us. And it's not the Republicans over the Democrats or the Democrats over the Republicans, even though we can go back and forth on some, prison reform and stuff like that. It's the people that control them. Mm-hmm. The people that control them. You've got this, Donna who's challenging me on everything. She's a sales rep at Eli Lilly. This is a pharmaceutical company that's doing a lot of harm to a lot of people, and also keeping real cures out of the hands of you and I. And this is a pharmaceutical group that is they got blood on their hands. And I'm not saying that about her, but mm-hmm. There's not a lot of enlightenment in the pharmaceutical sales industry.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got you, Dave, and you mentioned blood on your hands. I mean, you're saying that, but again, I'm just going by the projectiles, what I'm seeing. Again, during this attack on this Capitol, there's blood on a lot of people's hands.
You just got to look. You got to see the videos, man. You got to see the videos that they let them in. This was not an attack. I saw videos.
I saw videos. There's 5 people died because of this. 5 people are dead because of this.
Because of what? Because they let them in.
Because of these rioters storming the Capitol. 5 people are dead. That is fact. 5 people are dead. There's blood on people's hands. And when you hear the rhetoric from this president who provokes this, I'm giving it the ear test and the eye test. I'm just going by what was said and what was done, and there's 5 people dead and there's blood on people's hands. Now, Dave, let me just do this, Dave, because we're going to run, man, really quick. Dave, I want to do this really quick, though, Dave. Again, I want to have you, I'm going to have you come on, and I would love for you, and I'll give you the invite to come on next week. You mentioned the 20th, right? You said, so the 20th, we're not going to have the inauguration, okay? The 21st, again, I'll be on, all right? So hold on 1 second. I'm looking at the wrong count. Hold on a second, man.
The 19th is Tuesday.
Right. The 19th is Tuesday. Okay. So again, I want you to come on the 26th, Dave. We're going to have conversation like we're doing today. We'll see if, predictions came true or what have you. But I would love to give you the floor and give you the invite to come back on the 26th. Could you come back on the 26th so we can discuss?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Sure, I'd love to.
Perfect.
Let me leave you with this.
Okay.
If you find that you can't get on the internet, mm-hmm. Or you find your phone's not working, mm-hmm. or your TV is not working, This was predicted. And this, I believe, is the next step.
Okay, so you're saying TVs, phones, they're not going to be working? Are you saying this during this time of the inauguration, or like later on, or soon? Or
we don't really know when it's going to happen.
Okay.
But we believe it's going to happen before the inauguration.
Okay.
And Trump is being pretty much, he's kind of removing himself from the situation, because what's about to go down is you're going to see a lot of arrests of people that you voted for, thought fondly of, and have supported us supposedly as servants of this country, but they have not been.
Okay, so
and
that's
we're going to find out some really harsh truths coming up here in the coming, I believe, days and weeks.
Days and weeks. Okay.
It's going to be hard to stomach.
Okay.
Honestly.
Okay. All right. So I wrote down this stuff, and again, Dave, I appreciate you coming on, man. And again, we can agree to disagree. We're brothers. You know what I mean? I've known you for many years. I've had you on the show. And again, I like for you to come on and, speak your piece. Again, you can have different viewpoints than me, but I allow you the platform to talk about it. And again, Dave, I'm going to reach out to you. 26, we'll talk. We have a recap of our discussion here today, and then we'll go from there. Sound good?
Sounds great, brother. And,
okay.
And if for nothing else, other people getting a chance to see how two men can communicate and be on very opposite sides is, I think can be very inspiring too.
Absolutely.
As to what we can be as a civil society.
Absolutely. Yep. I always come in the spirit of sharing and the spirit of love, and that's never changed.
Awesome. Beautiful. Yep. Great transition, my friend.
Thank you, Dave. Appreciate you, man. I'll be in touch. We'll talk.
All right.
Okay. All right. Bye-bye. Whew. I might have to get a shot. I might have to of alcohol tonight. I don't know. Whoa. Okay. Oh boy. Well, guys, again, my forum here on Transition Tuesdays, I'll give you a chance to speak your truth, speak your piece. It may differ from mine, but again, that's why I have people on. Oh, man. Woo, boy. I appreciate you all, Donna, all you guys, Matthew, everybody in the conversation. I appreciate you guys all, man. Again, Dave Snedeker said a lot of stuff. He had the bravery of coming on, and I appreciate him coming on. He was there, and he talked about some predictions. Let's see if these things come true. And again, we're gonna have him on the 26th, and then we can still continue the conversation. Donna says she gotta take a shot too. I hear you, Donna. I hear you, sweetie. I hear you. Man, ladies and gentlemen, I have more stuff to talk about, but I don't want to get into that. But listen, guys, if we were able to help you think in this process, I usually say laugh, smile, and think, but again, I'm just going to bypass laugh and smile. If we were able to make you think, or I gave you the capacity to think about things, and my good friends, you have accomplished something valuable and true today. So celebrate your victory. Celebrate your victory. Dave says yes. Oh, man, Donna says have a good night. But no, celebrate your victory, Celebrate the victory, man. We get a lot of information that, sometimes we're inundated with information, good information, bad information. You get a chance to decipher the information. So I'm glad you guys are with me here tonight. So glad, as the DJ is going to play me out. My man Malik Means is joining us. What's going on, Malik? Malik, man, you joined us so late, man. Need to have you here earlier, brother. Man. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you guys for watching Transition Tuesdays each and every Tuesday. I appreciate you guys from the bottom of my heart. Again, you can always catch our episodes on YouTube. We have a YouTube channel, Transition Tuesdays. Please join us there. If you missed us, please do. A lot of information. I appreciate Dave Snedeker for coming on, my impromptu guest coming on today, talking about what went on in the Capitol building. You heard him speak. You heard me speak. you guys can decide and decipher, and go from there. I just try to bring you the information, and there we go. Oh, man. Matthew says, appreciate the civil conversation. Good stuff. Maybe there is hope. We see, Matthew. We'll see, man. We'll see, man. God is always in control, as I always say. So it don't really matter what everybody else is saying. God is in control. That's how I say it, and that's what I think. So as I say in parting, ladies and gentlemen, happy transitioning, and we'll talk to you guys soon. God bless. Take care, guys.